APN, the daily English news broadcasting service brought to you by Arakan Press Network today, Wednesday, 15th of February 2017. For me, your daily host, Mr. Sajid Jalal, greeting with you in Islamic greeting. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah. Headlines from the APN by the help of RB News and APN. Urgent action needed to address deteriorating human rights. Many on Rohingya aid chief disappointed by his restriction, foreign intervention needed in Myanmar. The detail are as follows. Urgent action needed to address a deteriorating human rights situation, Amnesty International's wrote in a statement to the 34th session of UN Human Rights Council. 1 year after the National League for Democracy and Lee-led government took office, the deteriorating in the human rights situation in Myanmar requires immediate and urgent action for the Human Rights Council. In Arakan State, state security forces have responded to attack by armed group on police posts with a campaign of violence against the Rohingya civilian population, which may amount to crimes against humanity. In northern Myanmar, fighting between the army and armed ethnic groups has escalated, leading to fresh violation of international humanitarian and human rights law against the ethnic civilian population. The UN official for the coordination of humanitarian affairs, UNOCHA, estimates over 100,000 people have been displaced in Arakan State and northern Myanmar in the last 5 months. The limited space for freedom of expression nationwide has closed down even further following a surge of online defamation cases. When word started to spread that only 25 people from the 8-ship nautical area would be able to go to Rohingya refugee camp, Abdullah Yusuf, 26, got angry. The Swedish volunteer was seen talking heatedly with Bangladesh immigration officer, asking if he could be left off the ship. "I left my job, I left my wife back home, I just got married 2 months ago, and now you tell me I cannot go?" He told the Star, "I just hope I can take my passport and leave." On Tuesday at about 11:30 a.m. local time, the aid ship carrying some 2,100 tons of cargo for Rohingya refugees arrived in Chittagong, Bangladesh, on what organizers are calling the Food Flotilla for Myanmar mission. Bangladesh government officials then met with mission organizers for about 2 hours on how the aid was going to be distributed. They later decided that only 25 of the 182 passengers would be allowed off the ship to go to Rohingya refugee camps on Wednesday and Thursday. Aid mission organizers said Bangladesh officials would not allow more than this number, citing safety reasons. On Saturday, volunteer Kalana Putra Muhammad, 44, told the Star that all he wanted to see was the condition at just one camp and how its people lived. "I wanted to see with my own eyes how much they have suffered so that I can go back to Malaysia and tell people how good we really have it," he said then. On Tuesday, however, he was speechless. "I don't know what to say. I don't know how to express this," he said. French volunteer Moussa Yacoub, 39, who has been to Bangladesh many times, said, "Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You can't win all the time." Still, he wondered why so many of those who were going were journalists. Though sad at not being picked to go, Muhammad Yacoub or Muhammad Uqba Ahmad Termis, 25, however, was still hopeful. "A lot of us are dissatisfied. We wanted to help them, the Rohingya, and kiss them. But it doesn't matter whether we go or not. The mission is important for the media to go in the camp and record what is going on there," he said. Except for a small amount given on Wednesday and Thursday, most of the cargo lifted from the nautical area will be distributed by the International Organization of Migration, IOM. ASEAN and the UN should shun hands-off advice and act to help the Rohingya. The suggestion by Cambodian Prime Minister Hansen that the ongoing crisis being suffered by the Muslim Rohingya in Myanmar will be left to that country's government and regarded as purely an internal affairs is likely to fall on deaf ears. So it should hopefully hopefully Cambodia and Myanmar's other partners in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations will display greater compassion and care than Hun Sen is offering. Hun Sen is right only in the sense that Myanmar will have to make the final call on the means to address this grievous problem, but international pressure is clearly needed to compel it toward fair resolution of the issue, just as foreign influence resulted in the 1991 Paris Accord that finally ended Cambodia's own drawn-out horror. Consider that Hun Sen would not be in his position today had Vietnam not intervened to rid his country of the brutal Khmer Rouge-halting genocide. The murderous mistreatment of the Rohingya might be a different kind of situation, but it too is having an impact beyond national borders, and thus the need for the international involvement apart from humanitarian concern. And only when the matter is resolved can Myanmar continue its peaceful progress toward democracy, which is also in the world's interest. Bangladesh, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, and other nations have been obliged on moral ground to take in thousands of refugees fleeing to the bloodletting in their home state of Arakan. Clearly, the government of Myanmar requires outside prodding to end the brutality, since the conflict stems in large part from widespread prejudice against the Rohingya. It is a political issue, and the government has been shockingly slow to act. As Muslims in a predominantly Buddhist population, the million-plus Rohingya in Rakhine have been for the uncertainty and anxiety arising from Myanmar's sudden opening to the world. When a handful of Rohingya men were accused in 2012 of raping a Buddhist, it was the spark needed to ignite deep-seated xenophobia, and this already repressed minority was an easy-to-large target. In the eyes of officialdom, the Rohingya will always be outsider, even though they have lived in the country for many generations. So this is now for today from APN English News Service. Thank you for watching our APN News. Please stay tuned for more updates. There is still to come up next every day as usual. For more updates and further more and detail about our APN, please visit our website as www.arakan.com.